And I think you know which one I'm talking about not rubbing.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Innsbruck, Austria. Today we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Innsbruck. And I want to start with this don't. And no, it's not just the one about inside the Hofkirche. It's this. Don't be disappointed if you aren't amazed and transformed by the most probably important tour site here in Innsbruck, and that is the Golden Stachel, or the Golden Roof. They all talk about it. It's a balcony that the emperor would stand at to take in the parades, to take in the festivals and everything. So it's not like something's going to really move you or anything. It does have a museum you can see. I mean, don't get me wrong, the gilded part is cool, but for me, it's these reliefs you see on here. That's actually the cool part of it. And what's nice is this makes a nice place to meet your friends when you're like, hey, where should we meet up? By the Golden Stachel, the Golden Roof, and then we'll see the town from there. Because honestly, for me, don't miss out on the best museum here in Innsbruck, and that is the Tiroler Volkskunstmuseum. So that's the Tirolean Folk Art Museum, because it's so cool. Because what they've done is they've actually taken like rooms from cabins all over Tyrol and put it in the museum. So you actually see how people lived 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago in there. And it's really, really cool. When you go through, you see all of the, all of the woodwork from people, the masks that are here from the festivals. I mean, it's just a really, really great experience.
Let's check this out. You get to walk into rooms. This is a room from the 1500s. They're 1500s. And they've rebuilt it inside the museum so you can see what it was like when people lived and how their houses were. There's a lot of these there. Another don't I have, when you do go to the Volkskunstmuseum, don't get the one-time ticket, get the Kombi ticket, the combine ticket, because you get to go to not just the Tiroler Volkskunstmuseum, you also get to go to the Hofkirche, which I'll talk about, which is a cool church to go to. Also, you get to go to the Tiroler Landesmuseum, the Fernandium. Yeah, you get to go in there. That has all the artwork. The museum in Zollhaus is in there as well. The Tirol Panoramic Museum is in there too. And the Kunsthalle Tirol is there. I mean, you get a ton of stuff with that combi ticket. So spend a few extra euros. It's worth it. And then you don't feel bad going to different things. What's cool is this ticket is valid for a year. Okay, so you get to go to each one of these places one time, but you get a whole year to do it. So don't pass up the Kombi ticket, and don't pass up the Tiroler Volkskunstmuseum, because it is really cool. And when you go in those rooms inside the Volkskunstmuseum, you make sure you look at the woodwork. I mean, it's incredible what they've done here inside their homes. Also, the masks that are here are awesome to check out, the wooden masks. It's just cool to see all the handmade stuff that's here, from the desks to the chairs to the traveling chests that are there. I mean, it's just a really cool thing to see how people lived 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, 600 years ago. I mean, it's just a really cool thing. And it's from all over Tyrol. But yeah, look at the woodwork. They were excellent carvers. I think I could pull that off. I think I could.
And when you're there, I gotta say this. Don't miss out on going to the Hofkirche as well.
But honestly, Maximilian, don't think he's actually buried there. That's just his memorial. He's actually in Wiener Neustadt. It's a different city. But I gotta say this. Don't rub the bronze statues, because some tourists get a little excited by the bronze statues, to the point that I think they actually represent it in the brochure. So keep your hands to yourself when you're down there, okay, people? But yeah, don't pass up the Hofkirche. It's worth doing, okay? And it's part of that combi ticket, so you can already go anyway. Don't rub the statues when you come to Innsbruck, especially one specific one. Now, we'll give you a don't when you actually are at the Hofkirche Volkskunstmuseum. When you're going to go to the Hofkirche from the museum, you have an opportunity to go to Maximilian's last will and testament. It is definitely him showing off, and it's an interesting experience to do. Don't feel you have to do it. If you don't like the dark, definitely don't do it. I would recommend just going into the church, but if you want to know and understand a bit more about Maximilian and Emperor Maximilian and why he did all this, it'll explain it pretty well.
And what's cool is that Hofkirche is connected with the Volkskunstmuseum, so it's all right there. So you kind of get it all together. So make sure, like I said, get that combination ticket, because there are a lot more museums to see. And the thing is, when you're coming here to Innsbruck, it's about the skiing, it's about the mountains. It's so gorgeous. You got the Nordkette you can go up to. And I got to tell you this: don't miss out on taking the funicular all the way to the top, because you can get up to the Nordkette on the top there, and you can go hiking when you're up there. But honestly, the views, don't miss the views when you're here in Innsbruck, whether you're going up there or you're just walking down the streets. You got these great views down the way, or the mountains, or of the bell towers, all kinds of stuff. And when you're taking the funicular, don't forget to get off at the Alpine Zoo that's up there. This is a zoo that specializes in showing you the animals of this region. It's actually really, really cool. My kids loved it when we went up there, but I will tell you, it's not a flat zoo. It's on the mountainside, so it's like this. So you're definitely going to get your buns of steel workout when you do come here. And I think that's kind of an important thing to mention is don't forget to bring the right clothing and shoes when you come to Innsbruck. I've been here in the summer, I've been here at Christmas time, multiple times. And one of the things is good shoes. One for the cobblestones, but also when the snow's out, it can be slick. But you want to do some hiking when you're here. You want to do, if you just go up the Nordkette and walking around there and Wanda and you're like wandering through the forest, it's really, really cool. But you need a good pair of shoes when you do come here. And don't forget the layers in the winter. And realize if you're going to be hiking, when you're going farther up, the temperature goes down, all right? So be safe when you do that. And I think that goes into like a safety thing. Don't worry about your safety when you're here at Innsbruck. This is a very safe place. I love coming here. I love taking my kids here and my parents here because I don't really have to worry about any of the pickpockets or any of those things. I mean, it's just a really wonderful place to be. And honestly, I got to tell you, don't be scared to bring your kids when you come here because yes, you could take them and teach them how to learn how to ski, but there's a lot of really cool museums and events that are here, like the Alpine Zoo you can go to, the Tyrol Volksmuseum, which is really nice, the hikes, the city's very walkable, the Audioversum, which is like a science center. That's so cool. It's just like a totally trippy, cool thing to do. They have so many nice things for kids to do here. It really makes a wonderful spot to go. That's why we brought our kids when they're very tiny, and they weren't so tiny because it is really a nice place. And the thing is, you'll see a lot of older kids here because there is a big university here. So there's a lot of university students. So you will hear a lot of English, a lot of Italian as well for the tourists. I think that's another thing tourists always ask, do I have to know German when I come to Innsbruck? Yeah, don't worry about your German coming here because so many students are here, so many international travelers come through here that you really don't need to know German when you're here. You'll be okay. It's always nice to know Grüß Gott, which is like greetings to God, that's like hi, and Danke is thank you, but honestly, it's a very international city for what it is, okay?
Now, getting up the Nordkette is fantastic, but I gotta say, don't really go up there if it's really foggy. Like, we've been here for 4 days, and it's finally clearing off right up there. We could actually go up and see, but now it's getting too late, so by the time we get up there, it'll be too dark. So if you have a clear day and it's clear up there, don't pass up the chance to go up there. But again, if it is cloudy, don't go up. It's not worth it. You get other great views of other mountains and other places. But yeah, it's right up there. I mean, it's so cool. We finally get to see it. And of course, you get really lucky like me on your 5th day here. It's actually totally cleared. You could go up, but you have to leave in an hour, so you don't have time to go up there. But honestly, going up to Nordkette, it is so beautiful. Like just if you take that funicular up, the ride up, even the Alpine Zoo is so much fun with the kids and anybody, but just going up there for the views, it's just beautiful. So you do want to do the hikes. Actually, we're here by Schloss Ambras. There's actually the information for the Wanderwege, the hiking trails, the wandering trails. So there is a lot of options for you. One sad don't I have for you, the big festival, the Fastnacht. Don't think it happens every year. It's only every 4 years, basically, when you're here in Innsbruck, so you're going to miss out on it. But if you come to the Volkskunstmuseum, you can see some of the costumes. What's important are the mask carving, the carved mask. Super traditional kind of stuff. So, yeah. Sadly, I'm not here one of those years.
Now, food is always a very important thing, and I got to tell you this. Don't be anti-dumpling when you come here to Innsbruck. They love the Knödel, and Knödel is dumpling in German, and there's a lot of different kinds of dumplings here. There's 3 dumplings you want to have when you come. One is Speckknödel, which is a bacon dumpling. Think of like a dumpling with bacon bits in it. It is really, really good. Another one is Spinatknödel, which is a spinach dumpling. I've had that before. I would go with the speck dumpling over that. And then there's the cheese dumpling you can have when you're here. And they're all fantastic, so you want to have that. And they love it so much, you can actually get a platter that has multiple different types of dumplings on there to do that for a meal, okay? And honestly, talking about the speck, don't be surprised if there's a lot of speck when you go around. And speck is bacon. Like, you'll literally see stores that just sell speck, just sell bacon because they love it so much. It'll be in your eggs. It'll be there for your bread and your sandwich in the morning. It'll be in your knödel and your dumplings. I mean, They do love it, so do be aware of the speck when you come around here. Now, obviously, skiing is a big thing here. You have Berg Isle with a ski jump you can go to, but I gotta tell you this is, don't worry if you don't bring your stuff. You can rent the things, or you can buy your ski equipment here. It's not a problem. They do have it set up. You can take lessons if you want to learn here. That's one of the things that's really cool. They do have those things to help people like me who are scared to ski, because every time I've skied, I've actually broke bones, so I'm like not the most ski-worthy person, but they are very helpful with that, and that's a really cool thing. Now, on the interesting front, I want to say this. Don't think the Swarovski Crystal World is some kind of new age crystal kind of thing, you go to. No, it's actually a place where the Swarovski Crystal Company actually displays a lot of really cool installations. Like there's huge crystal sculptures outside, the guys shooting the water out, that's probably the one you see the most. But inside they have more intricate ones as well you can take, and it makes a really good half-day trip. They've got a little store here in town you can check out when you're on the little pedestrian street here, but don't think it's some weird we're going to check out crystals. No, it's like crystal installations, like artwork stuff. And if you can't get out to the Swarovski, Crystal World, there actually is a store here right on the main, pedestrian street, so you can see some of the cool stuff in there. So there are options if you don't want to go out of town to see it, because they got some pretty cool stuff to see, and traditional crystal things as well. And when you're going around, don't miss the Ambras Castle, okay? That's the castle. I mean, literally, it's like a 10-minute taxi ride from here in the center to get there. It's like right on the outskirts of the city. And it's a beautiful, beautiful palace, fortress, castle you want to go to. It has the amazing, the hallways of the mirror hallways you have in Versailles. It has this huge hallway. It has a great portrait gallery. It's got all kinds of armors you can see when you're there. I mean, it's a cool experience to go if you want to get kind of out of the center, but not leave too far, because it's right there. Schloss Ambras has a ton of things to see. I mean, just when you first get in, the views and the drive up is gorgeous. Seeing the mountains, seeing the trees, everything. But when you get in, the first thing you see is your armory. It's really cool because it has all the stuff. There's your jousting suits and all kinds of stuff. So it's really kind of cool. Another thing I want to say is, after the armory, don't stop and go back. You want to make sure you go to the Wunderkammer, or the Kunstkammer, the Art and Wonders thing. It's on that second floor up there. It has a crazy collection of art. There's the Fool's Plate, and look at the outsides of the Fool's Plate. I can't really show them on here because YouTube will not let me show that. But check that out. But also check out the other paintings in there. There is the Vlad Tepes painting you've seen all over the world all the time, and you've seen the hairy children and the hairy man paintings. Yeah, they're actually there. And what's cool, there's a lot of really interesting wonders. That's what Wunda means. But they have the explanation that goes with it. So don't forget to read the explanation. So don't forget to go in there, but also don't forget to read the explanation, because it's pretty cool. And the art collection's pretty cool too. So make sure you check it out. Don't be a fool. Check out the art here too. Because honestly, really tall guy with a dwarf. Interesting stuff here. Oh, look. There's Vlad the Impaler. There's a guy that's been impaled there. Original Zoom meeting dress up. Yep, so people don't see you. He also has the hairy children. Paintings. As long as the painting of the hairy man to go along with other interesting art collections when you're here. So, Ambras Castle, it's really worth going to just to see all the stuff that's here. Seriously, 10 minutes outside Innsbruck. And if you're coming to the Ambras Castle, okay, this is what you're coming for. In the upper castle, you want to see this. This is the Spanish Saal, the Spanish room, or the Spanish hall. It is huge, and it's insane, and it goes perfectly with this entire experience here at the Ambras Castle. You really should come here. Don't pass this up. I know I said in the video, I'm saying it again. Don't pass up coming to the castle, because it is a super cool experience just to see all these things. Now, when you're going around town, I got to tell you this, don't forget to look up, because there's so much great architecture when you're going through the old town. It is just beautiful as beautiful can be, and you'll be like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful as well. You'll see the tower, that tower there right behind me up there. Yeah, I got something to say about that. Hey, don't forget, if you are in downtown, you want to get a view of the downtown where the Golden Stockel is and everything, you can actually get a ticket. You can go up there to get a view on top of the city tower. If you don't like heights, I don't recommend it, because when you're out there, you're really out there, and you're really exposed to the elements and your fear of heights. So hence why you don't have me out there right now doing this. And the thing is, when you're looking around, you do see this opulence, the Habsburg opulence. And I got to tell you, don't worry, you can see the Habsburg opulence when you're here in town. And one is you can go to the Hofkirche, which is their like the city palace, so you can check that out. That's a really cool thing. And then you have St. Jakob's Cathedral that I'm standing in front of right here. It's a huge, huge church when you go in there. And don't forget to pay your euro to take your pictures. But honestly, there's churches around town you can take in. I mean, it's just beautiful here. But honestly, when you're here, you have the architecture, you have the food, but also don't forget all the museums that are here. You have the Tirolean Landesmuseum, or the Ferdinandium, which basically has, like, on the first floor, there's like Italian and Dutch art that's there. And the very top, you can go up and there's a view of the Noordkette. You can see the mountains from here. I mean, you can see the mountains from everywhere except on a cloudy day. So don't think you're going to see the mountains on a cloudy day. That should be one right there. But you go and you have that. Like I said, the Audioversum for the kind of sciencey kind of museums when you're here. The archaeological museum is in the basement of the Ferdinandium. You have that. I mean, there's just the Volksmuseum. There's just so many museums around town you can go and take in, and that combination ticket helps you see a lot more. Now, another thing I want to talk about is a lot of tourists, when they come here to Innsbruck, they're coming from Munich or Salzburg, and you're so overrun with tourists in Salzburg, and you're so overrun with tourists in Munich that you don't have to worry about the crowds when you come here to Innsbruck, because there's a lot fewer tourists that come here. Now, there are tourists that come here. This is not like, a hidden gem kind of thing, but it's significantly less than Salzburg or Munich. And what's cool is you can use Innsbruck. It can be a day trip from those places, or you can go to Munich or Salzburg as a day trip as well. It's about an hour and 45 minutes to Munich or Salzburg. No big deal. And actually, if you want to do a longer day trip, it's 2 hours to Feldkirch, which is a nice town I really enjoy. And then you can take the bus over to Liechtenstein to knock off Vaduz and see another country when you're here. Now, another thing I think is important to realize is don't forget to say Grüß Gott when you walk into stores and shops and restaurants when you are here in your hotel. It's greetings to God. It's just hello when you are here. That's a polite thing to do. And I got to tell you, don't pass up on talking to the locals when you're here in Innsbruck, because honestly, the Innsbrucker, they are the nicest Austrians, like of the big cities in Austria, they are the nicest ones around. So take your opportunity to meet the locals when you're here. Chat them up at the bar. Talk to the bartender, the waitress. I mean, this is one of those places where you don't have that Austrian stern service. You actually have friendly service here and really nice people.
Now, an important note to remember when you're here in Innsbruck is don't expect to shop very late, because it's 8 o'clock at night and everything's closed up. Also, don't expect to shop on Sundays, well, because on Sundays, all the stores in Austria are closed, except if they're, like, at the train station. So just have a heads up for that if you're here.
And aside from the Speck and the Knödel, I want to tell you this. Don't forget about some of the other Tirolean specialties, like food specialties you can have when you're here. The Tiroler Klöstel, which is roasted potatoes and Speck, of course, with some onion in there and that fried egg on top. That's one thing you can get. It really warms you up on these like cold days that I'm here in the wintertime. The Käsespätzle, the cheese noodles that's here, it's really good with the onions in it. And they love the wild meats here. You're going to get venison like crazy. We've had saddle of venison. We've had venison ragu on Spätzle. We've had, venison lasagna. I mean, they do like their wilde Fleisch here. It's really kind of a cool thing. And when you're going around, you'll see all these really great foods. And yes, you can get all the Austrian typical specialties here from Wiener Schnitzel to Tafelspitze. You can get that. Another like special thing from here in Innsbruck, if you see it around, is, I'm going to butcher how it's said, but Kjachel, which is basically, it's like a donut dough, and they fry the dough, and it's like flat. And then there's two ways you can have it. You have it sweet, where they put jam on it and maybe some powdered sugar. That's really nice. Or if you want to get the savory version, you can get it where it has the dough and they put sauerkraut on top. That's up to you and your call, okay, when you come here.
Honestly, it's a really good donut, and it has the either Preiselbeeren on it, but you get the kraut, you get it plain with just some powdered sugar. But yeah, these, well worth when you're here. Gotta get them. Yes, you get some stuff on your face, but who cares? It's so good. Yummy.
Honestly, you'll really, really enjoy Innsbruck. Like, I come back every few years to fall in love with the city, and I hope you will too. And honestly, if you want to go back and have a good laugh, go watch our 10 things to see when you come here to Innsbruck. I filmed it, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13 years ago, 14 years ago, and see how things changed in terms of me. Less here, more here. But yeah, I mean, Innsbruck's amazing. I hope you have a great time. And what are some other don'ts you think tourists should know when they come here to Innsbruck? Let us know in the comments below, and have a great time in this beautiful city. Bye from Innsbruck.